You've chosen a podcast from Low Moon Uprising. Enjoy.
Hey, I can do that too.
I could make a dim light that you really wouldn't be able to see by, but I would need something to put it on. There wouldn't be enough to see by.
I will...
Also, I can make water if anybody's thirsty.
I'll use Phantasmal Force to make a...
Floating torch?
Light.
Floating light. Okay. All right. Meanwhile, while he's doing that, you have gone a little bit ways down the hallway. He was at the edge of the light. You moved to the edge of the light. Are you actually going to move out of the light? Okay, so moving out of the light, you can see you switch to infravision. Roll a d6 for me. Okay, so you switched very quickly, pretty much instantaneously, and immediately you can see that this hallway goes forward at least 40 feet, and then you can see there's like a blurring, like they're made that you can't see clearly. Like there may be another portcullis, like you saw before. Okay, behind you, you hear him, his robes or clothing or whatever makes some motion, and then you hear a little bit of hissing, and look out of the corner of your eye, you see he has a floating light send down the hallway.
And I would like to believe that the light is going to follow the path.
Okay. You may roll a d20.
Dancing lights!
Are you inhibiting yourself?
I made it. Because I get plus or minus 1.
Right.
And I got...
Okay, so then you reduce it by 1 and you made it. Supposed to declare if you're giving yourself a bonus or a negative first, but I understand that was your intention, so. Okay, so, alright, so the light begins...
It's got to be equal to or less than anyways.
Correct.
So, if it...
Right, but you wanted to fail it. So you needed the -1 to fail if you wanted to be real.
I was like...
Yeah, so he concentrates for a moment, and then the light begins to float down the hallway.
And then
And now you're not in control of it anymore.
Okay, and then I'll try and see at the end of the hallway.
Okay? So he goes... and the light drifts, and you're kind of at the edge of the continual light, and the light drifts off down the hallway. It passes Theon. So,
see if portcullis as it passes me?
not yet. You were seeing that down the hallway some distance. So then as it goes past you, and it's floating it kind of seems like I have a little bit of pattern to it, like it's floating in a spiral down the hallway. And sure enough, some distance down the hall, probably 20 to 30 feet, the light encounters a portcullis that is blocking the hallway, not unlike the first one that you saw. Okay? Yes.
PhD.
PhD. Okay. All right. It encounters the portcullis, and then it sort of like bulbs against it for a second, spreads out slightly, and then slips through the portcullis. And it continues on down the hall.
Can I see the portcullis?
Yes. Everyone that's looking in that direction can see the portcullis as it is now in the light.
There's a
I'd
portcullis.
like to see on the other side of it.
Okay. Roll percentile dice. Okay. You cannot strain yourself to see past the portcullis. You're having difficulty doing so.
Stop trying and then
The image in your mind goes away.
forward, sort of far.
Okay. You're going to run up to the portcullis, which is 20, 30 feet away. It's a little reckless, but you're crazy, so...
Not quite. Like 10 feet out.
Slam! Oh.
This is a portcullis away.
Between 20 and 30 feet away from the edge of your continual light, there was a portcullis.
So,
And he is now moving towards it.
stop like 10 feet back from the portcullis. I
What?
stop like 10 feet back from the portcullis and try again.
Okay? Roll a d20 for me.
Moving up with him.
3.
Anyone moving up with him? Theon had already gone about half that distance. That changes the party marching order. If you're going to basically follow up with him, you've got Theon, you've got Bazor in the front. Because the crazy person in the front makes sense. Illusionist in the front, not as much, but crazy person makes sense.
I would be gonna be next to him.
Yeah, he was advancing quickly. Are you willing to advance that quickly and start searching for traps?
I will be like 2 steps behind him, so if there's a trap, he hits first.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Okay. At your mention, are we going to follow? Mark will follow. It really isn't. It's still pretty much single file. Jake following Mark or no?
I think I'll keep advancing the part.
Okay. Brunson? Cool with that position, or you want to let FaZe, Channy, or Charlotte go in front of you?
No.
Okay. FaZe follows Brunson. Janny follows FaZe. You've got.
I guess so.
Okay. It only means advancing to the edge of the light and then like another foot. Because everybody's in front of you. Okay. You're stopping how far from the portcullis? About 10 feet. Okay. And you rolled what on your d20?
3.
Okay. So you stop at roughly 10 foot from the portcullis, and you hear a noise that goes bang, as if something toward the floor level broke, and you realize that you just broke some kind of a trip line or something
Do
that
I
must have
hear
been stretched
this?
across the floor level. Yes?
Can I grab him?
Initiative 7 or higher.
7 exact.
Okay. So yes, you may try to grab him, which will amount to another saving throw. He has already failed his.
Saving throw of... for him or for me?
It was not for you, because you're not being attacked. It would be to pull him out of the way. So basically, roll a d20.
20.
Oh, nice. All right. So what happens is a poison arrow dripping with green ichor shoots across the hallway from the left, followed almost immediately by a second one. There's a slight delay, half a second. And both of them impact the wall on your right side and then fall on the floor. The one shatters, the other doesn't, but it looks like it took a little damage to the head. You can see that they're coated in a green slime of some kind, but he pulled you back just in time, so you were not hurt. Okay. The light has continued to drift down the hallway, and you can see that the hallway curves gently to the left, and the light is almost out of view. So it's bright enough you can still see the light, but you can't see the bulb that's creating the light.
Put myself
Partway up the curve. See if I can see part of it.
Using your mental powers. Okay, roll percentile dice.
Roll the beautiful
55.
Okay. You see the hallway between here and there, and it's brighter, but you don't see all the way to where the light is. You change your angle and look down the hall. Okay. You can see the light. It goes left, and then you see the actual bulb of the light. It goes left, and then back to the right, and then goes completely out of view, but only for a couple of seconds. And then you see it flare up a little, and then you see it come back to to your left. You see it kind of cross right to left for a second, and then back to right, and then it's coming straight back toward you. And then it actually passes through your mind's eye vision, if you will, so it must be behind that now. And you see the light is coming back this way. The bulb of light that he sent down there is coming back this way. So that means coming back toward the portcullis. There's been no response. If there were any sentries down there, they certainly would have been alerted, but there's been no response.
So we saw the arrows from back there, right?
Yeah, back there is not very far back. Bazor was in the front, followed by Theon, followed by Mark, and the distances between each is like 2 steps.
You guys okay?
You heard
Barely.
dung, dung.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to
Coming right for us.
by fade.
You gotta retreat back, or basically get out of the way and let them try to go past you, because it's only a 7-foot wide hallway. You gotta step to the side and squeeze down there. That kind of thing. Is everybody letting him go back? Mark is fine, Jake is fine, Brunson. Okay, so you're gonna go between Brunson and FaZe.
Say, yeah. Say it doesn't look like there's anything.
You can go ahead of me.
Looks like it's anything.
You wanna go ahead of him?
Yeah.
He's offering for you to go ahead of him.
I'll step back.
I'd like to talk to Faye.
He says, I'd like to talk to FaZe for a minute.
Well, both of you can go ahead.
Okay, that's fine. He's cool with that. It's like checkers over here. Okay.
King me.
You're going to have to earn that one, baby. Okay?
If you don't want to miss any of the story, Low Moon Origins, Uprising, or Outsiders, like and follow our podcast. Please share it with friends.
Theon is now in the front and responsible for all traps.
Yay.
Since now we have found out that there are traps.
Yay, trap.
From my experience of using
No.
old person spells, if I were to touch the gate with like a word, would it still hold me?
That was what you ran into, was a glyph of warding. So any disturbance of the gate would release, the glyph would release its spell on anyone in range. So if it's got the range of a hold person spell, then that could be anybody up to 90 feet away. You could shoot it with an arrow and it could still try to hold you. But if it was the range of the glyph of warding spell, that should be much closer, but it's still going to be within 20 feet or so. So yeah, if you hit it with your sword, it will attack you
Will it
probably.
hold multiple people?
If it's a full spell, yes, it could hold up to 3 people.
Need to train before we came in here.
Yes, that's part of the flavor of Low Moon. Always needing training.
Forget about training, I just need sleep.
The world needs heroes. And
I can't dispel this thing. We're level too low.
you don't even know if there's anything there.
You've heard of angry, right?
You should, if there's a glyph of warding there, now you know to look for it. You'll be able to find it without triggering it.
Okay, I'll
If
do
there is
that
one.
then.
Okay, we haven't. All right, so you're moving toward the portcullis. So you're continuing to check the floor between here and there.
Yeah.
You got about a 10 to 15 foot yet ground to cover. All right, so roll percentile dice. If there is a trap locating it, would require a low dice roll.
So,
Time to move traps, 40%. 44%.
Okay. The floor that you are about to walk on to approach the portcullis does not appear to be trapped.
Okay, I'll go to it.
Okay. You approach the portcullis. Right?
so whoever's
Um,
controlling these rats also
as you approach the portcullis and you're maybe 5 feet away or a little less, something like a light spider web was in the air, and you feel it stretch across your face and across your armor.
Okay.
And it's enough to kind of set your spidey senses roaring, and you may make a saving throw.
That's a 10.
Okay? And so what happens is, from the ceiling above you, a large axe. It's like a double-headed battle axe, but it's larger than that. So it's probably at around 2 feet across. Swings down, and it swings parallel to the hallway, which means you are being struck by it because you failed your save, and then there is the chance that Mark will be struck by it as well.
What was I saving for?
Mark failed also.
Would that be like
not be hit by the axe.
It's rod, staff, swans at -2.
Am I close enough that I can try to parry it?
After it hits Mark,
I would have gotten it
failed to
exactly.
save. So you would be next.
-2, I would have gotten it.
So you may try to parry it, or you may try to dodge.
Do I have my sword out?
I'm sure. Yeah,
Okay. I would try to. How is it like a really big axe?
it's pretty big. Yeah, it's bigger than any battle axe you've ever personally blocked.
I do want to try that.
Okay. What are your? I just need to know what your offensive bonuses are to hit. That's all I need.
1836. So it's plus 1 hit probability.
Plus the sword, plus your double specialization. So you got
It's
4.
like plus 7. Plus 8.
Okay. So roll a d20. All right. So what happens is the axe comes down. It clips the arm. You spun out of the way. It just barely clipped you, but it's big and sharp. So we'll see what happens in a second. Mark tried the same thing. He spun out of the way. It clipped him. And then as it comes to Jake, Jake basically puts his sword up and braces it with his forearm and blocks the huge axe. It does look like it would have had just enough reach, Aaron. It does look like it would have had just enough reach to mess with Phasor, but Jake stopped it. So saved once, but for a trap from Theon, and now saved from a trap by Jake. Okay?
That's a big axe. What
Okay.
happened there? I
And
I'm
so
aware.
thought we were looking for
Theon
traps.
first. 15 points.
Oh,
Clipped for
That was
Clipped
maximum.
for 15 points.
Apparently, yeah, it took part of your breast muscle, and your armor has a hole in it. And then,
above your heart.
ooh, okay. So that was pretty nasty. I rolled 1 off maximum damage for both of them.
okay?
For both of them.
Yes, he's okay, but it hurt a lot. He's rubbing his breast muscle.
I'm at 13.
Yep. You can immediately bandage your wound.
I'm gonna do that.
Can we,
Yeah.
can we stop setting off traps?
Wasn't my fault. I rolled a natural 20. Built my
You
wisdom
know
check.
those dice rolled high. You said so yourself. Well, you're rolling that one for healing. Okay. Faze will check your boob successfully and give you 2 points back. Faze checks Mark's boob. No, it's not his boob. It's beautiful success. All right. So, Mark says, "Don't do that again."
I'm gonna down the cure light wounds.
Should I just go in front now?
D8s hate me.
How about that resting thing?
Mark says, "I'll go behind Jake."
Okay, we're resting behind this portcullis. I'm healing myself.
Can I hear him from back there?
Yes.
And walk in front of
We're resting in the trap-ridden hallway?
Hopefully that's the last trap, because if not, there's something up against that thing.
Yeah, well, he's basically at the front of the portcullis now. Okay.
So,
I'm getting my-
what are the odds of this portcullis thing doing the same thing that the last one did to you?
Well,
Aaron,
wait, is there light
Aaron,
there?
get a drink or something, man. You're falling asleep.
Is there light there?
Too warm in here.
Maybe.
Nope,
You can move over in front of the
it's
fan.
breeze.
That'll help.
Nice breeze outside.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check for the
You could take the tables and stuff outside.
And play team.
It's easily 10 degrees cooler out there.
Doing what? Sorry, check with the forward. Okay, roll percentile dice. You have a bonus to your chance.
48.
You're confident that there is no glyph of warding.
I'm gonna touch it.
Okay, nothing happens.
No, there's nothing.
Nothing happens, including your heart.
You booped.
You needed to roll a 25 to pass that death save.
Okay, so there's nothing on this one. I'm just not gonna try to lift it. So you rest
So
here.
you're fairly certain that this hallway is clear of traps. One of the rooms that you've cleared that might be potential are mostly full of rat crap. But if you go back far enough, you get to the room that had the trap door spider thing in it. There really isn't a large
Still
open
alive.
space to comfortably rest for any length period of time.
Well, you sent your ball of light thing, right? Face
Yes.
work?
Speaking of which, it went back to the other end and is now headed back this way.
Look out!
It looks like it's going to be a relatively permanent new addition to this cavern.
So is that thing gonna just kind of keep going?
Aaron,
Yeah.
Jake said, is that thing going to just keep going then? Because it went to the one end, it went all the way back to the other end, and now it's coming back this way.
It's fine.
Probably.
It'll be like a nightlight.
Oh, wow.
So,
As far as you're concerned, you created, it has a life of its own, so it could last for months.
well, your ball of light thing didn't set off any warnings or anything. So that means the other side of the portcullis, there's guards or something waiting for us.
You can safely assume that, at least as far as that next intersection, if there was anything that was on that intersection, the light lights it up, in both directions it would have been spotted.
Sleep here?
Down.
Leave, Mark says.
Yes.
Yes,
Sleep.
it's that thing you do when you close your eyes.
Your magic users are about out.
Somebody's likely to come.
That's why we post watches.
We can
And you
scout
say,
out.
someone's coming in this hallway, and everyone wakes up. Great reverb in here.
It's either that or we retreat all the way back up to the south.
Well, that sounds better to me. We get something to drink.
Have something.
Bed sounds good.
Faze says, I am by no means depleted of abilities.
Good, we'll leave
I
you
have
down.
exercised considerable conservation
in resources so that I am near fully capable of all the things that I could normally do.
Good.
I'm feeling pretty. But y'all look sleepy, so let's just go back to town.
Yeah, really. Tell me about it.
We have to gain standing up.
Supposed to be me.
Yeah, Ron would be the one at 7 o'clock falling asleep, so you guys are going to have to find a way to be more alert.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. All right, so...
Back to town?
About face.
That way.
Maybe we can kill that spider on the way out.
Maybe I can finally get my...
If there's anyone in this town that can do that.
And do realize that it will still work as an offensive weapon.
Yeah,
It just doesn't have the magical healing abilities.
Why
Okay.
not? The
But it's working.
magic's a
They went
priestess.
on the way out and
Oh.
attempt to where they're going, how they're
Yeah, it's a pretty easy course because you came from the rat warrens, you came out the direct opposite hallway that you went in. Unless something changed, basically you'd go all the way back down this hallway across the rat warrens, past the other portcullis, around the curve, through the room that has the trap spider in it, which you just stay away from the area that it was in, theoretically, and then back to the well. So it's pretty straight. The truth is you've covered about maybe a couple 100 feet,
And
250 at the most, and you really only had the one big room and the rats, and then the zombies that were protecting at the portcullis. You haven't really fought that much, but a couple of people just got hammered by a big trap. And
Maybe it's
healing is running out. I
important.
think. Yes, I think that's the way it usually works.
It's not that, it's the combination of all of that, plus the fight with Van
Yeah.
the last time.
Yep. You've done a lot today. There's no doubt about that. Okay, so are we going out?
To the end!
I mean, you've been down here for coming on 2 hours, so it's quite a while. At least a couple hours.
Besides, who built a town on top of a dungeon? Of course you're gonna get things.
She did not act like this should be here. No doubt about it. She definitely thought that, she couldn't understand why there were rats coming out of the well, but anybody that would have known this was here would have said, the dungeon under the well is producing rats. Please do something.
There must be a machine down there just pumping out rats.
Yes. Apparently they've installed a rat-producing machine in the dungeon. All right?
Call them mama.
No problem. So you go back up and out. Nobody's making one final push to do something different, right?
Mark, did you want to scout this way before I get back?
Sure, we can.
Do you want to report back to...
Oh, does anybody else want to scout out with Mark and me?
I think that is
Okay,
highly
since I would
unwise.
Hmm?
I think that's a terrible idea. Giant axes and all.
Faye's not as smart as he thinks he is. But don't take it personally, because few of us are.
I do take it personally. I am as smart as I think I am.
Oh. Then I beg your pardon.
You underestimate yourself.
You have
Tends to stay away from trouble, which is kind of
You have it, by the way, my heart.
Thank you.
See,
Well-
I'm generally more agreeable and cheerful when we're heading back to sea.
I don't think scouting would be a good idea unless you're very skilled.
It would appear that the only one of us that is skilled in checking for traps is the one who just got hit by one.
I usually don't check for cobwebs in a dungeon.
And you guys would also have to be super...
Cobwebs set that one?
You don't know
Yes.
any more rat ones.
Sure it wasn't a tripwire?
No, it was an extremely thin cobweb was what it was.
Or an extremely wire?
The extremely thin tripwire was made of cobweb? Sure. Maybe it was a tripwire thin.
I mean, it could have been worse. We could have ran into another...
Yeah, I
giant
don't usually
spider
check for
thing.
something like that.
And Mark, let's just check that.
All right, let's get a drink. If I drink enough ale, this thing in my chest probably won't hurt so much.
You are looking pretty rough.
There's a lot of truth in that statement.
Okay.
Where's some of this? Pretty good block stuff.
All right, you go back through. I won't make you make tests to lift the portcullis. Get to the well. There's that little pathway, so as long as you're careful and the rope is there to guide you, you can actually make it up out of the well without any problem. Who is first to step out into town?
Me.
It's a wasteland.
You blew it up! Okay. Janny and Theon swing up over the mouth of the well. There's some dead rat bodies still laying there.
Ew.
Town is quiet. Who's third?
Did the mayor die?
I think I'll be last.
Okay. Bays. All right. Charlotte goes third.
I will
You swing
go-
up over the
Well,
town.
everyone is
Immediately,
left.
you get an eerie feeling as if something is not right.
Go up in my
Well, he's the
assigned
mayor.
party work.
I need to develop an undead spice.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the. Is there a town hall?
There's not a town hall.
I'm going to the pub.
So, okay,
The pub was nearest to the
I'm
well.
gonna go up.
Okay.
Do I get that eerie feeling too?
People go out.
All right.
Mark, go. Basil, go.
Bow in hand. All right. The town, you don't see anybody moving. Now, mind you, it's midnight, right? But what strikes you is you don't see any lights. Not even in the inn, which should be still serving.
There's a sign of a struggle up here.
Not immediately that you see.
I'm clairvoyance into the inn.
Okay. It's empty.
Guys, hold on. Slow down.
Roll a d20 for me.
Before we soften the trap.
20.
Okay. By now you've used it enough. You realize basically you clairvoyance at seems like indoors around 20, 25 feet or so, and you don't have any control of the distance. Outdoors it's 20 to 30 yards, and you don't have any control of the distance. You're always getting that same amount of distance. So you can change your angle so like you can see like normal vision. So you could go 20 yards, and then if you change your angle, you probably could see for hundreds of yards outdoors. But you're always getting a distance that's between 20 and 30 yards outside, 20 and 30 feet inside, and you don't have any control over how far away it is. So you can't go, well, I want to see just beyond this door. You'd have to go 20 feet back from the door, then you could see beyond the door.
So it's like clairvoyance 20 feet.
It is. 20 to 30 feet
Or
indoors,
2
20 to
inches.
30 yards outdoors. Okay? So now you know that that's how you would have to use it if you want to get more speed. And knowing is, in this case, a lot of it, about 90%. All right? So, shortly everyone is up. Meanwhile, you have looked in the inn. You saw that it's empty. Theon, Charlotte, Janny scan the street. Brunson comes up. Jake's waiting to the last. Faze comes up. Bazor comes up. And you realize very shortly that at least this part of town is totally deserted. You don't see anybody.
I'm following the mayor.
Hey, where'd everybody go?
Okay.
It's not that late, is it?
Think it was the bandits?
Maybe
Here?
the rats.
Thought they weren't going to come this far.
Attacking people.
I'm gonna go through and check and see if there's any blood, any signs of struggle, any.
Okay. In the tavern, you see no blood or signs of struggle, and the door is unlocked. The general store, which is nearby, the walkway leading to it, nothing. The fountain, it was down in the central area where you go
Nothing
right.
stolen. I go into the general store. Is there anyone there?
No,
I take.
the door was unlocked, and there's no one there. You do see that most of the stuff that was in the general store is gone.
Is there any food?
No. Some leather cords, a shovel, a broken plate.
Are there any tracks from like? Is it like
Okay. Would you like to
more
do some
sun?
tracking?
Yeah.
Roll percentile. Interested in giving financially to Low Moon and support the campaign? Text LMGIVE, that's LMGIVE, to 419-419-0095. I assume you're kind of looking around for signs and then go track that area, basically, so you don't have to track every inch of town.
Yeah, just trying to see if it looks like a bunch of people left.
7-7 and a 7. All weird numbers all in. Probably because I haven't done that much game. My dice are like, we can generate odd numbers. I rolled 2d12. Rolled 12 damage on Dion and 11 on.
Anyone?
Okay. You search an area that's kind of toward the edge of town, kind of the way you came in. Just briefly, don't see anything. Then you look and you see what looks like mind you, seen by moonlight. And you see what looks like an area, might be a disturbance. And you find an area on the edge of town. It is not the main road out of town. It's a side road, if you will. It goes between two buildings and then off into the countryside. And there you can see what looks like maybe 40 people walked through here within the last couple of hours, as well as 2 wagons and about 10 horses. And that's more probably than the population of the entire town.
Guys, come over here real quick.
And the tracks seem to be heading out of town.
Charlotte.
Okay?
So how do we have to?
Art goes as well. Does anyone not go?
Me.
Jenny does well. What are you doing?
Oh.
Okay, you are going. Bezor goes.
I don't go, but then I do.
I don't want to go, but I will. Okay.
I go.
All right. So you're gathered again.
About 40 or so people in a few wagons, not all in this direction. The people may have deserted the town, but
What happened to
Faze
all
says,
down there?
if they deserted the town, they wouldn't all leave together.
they
Corral. Like cattle.
I
It would have been awfully quick. We were only down there 2 hours. That's not long to corral an entire town worth of people and get them out.
How many people do you think live here?
2 dozen.
You gotta go through each house, clear each house.
Someone may still be hiding somewhere. We should look.
The general store's empty.
Special sale, general store. The whole store for
I
free.
mean, like, there's no items.
What?
There's leather straps and a shovel.
They cleaned out the general store too?
leather straps. I will get them up.
go building.
Hey, Mark, make a ruckus. If there's anyone in here.
No, don't make a ruckus. We don't want to draw attention to ourselves.
What attention?
If there's still bandits around,
That's even more.
we don't want to let them know we're here.
We should probably put out the continual light then. Faye says. It gets dark in the town. The moon is half full, half empty, depending on your. But anyway, overcast at about 40%. But right now the moon is shining brightly in the town. You can see maybe a dozen stars around the edges of the clouds. It's 55 degrees outside, cool, fresh air, a gentle breeze of about 10 mile per hour is blowing in from the south-ish, which is an estimate because none of you have direction sense.
From up that way.
To their wind.
About
I
10,
think I've
10
been
mile per hour
around long
breeze.
enough to figure out the direction by the moon.
Yeah, I wanna.
You have any skills for this purpose?
Not really, but
You guess it's approximately south.
I wanna face the direction that we're going from.
Okay.
How cold is the?
Not cold. It's about the same temperature as
This isn't north.
55 degrees. It's not- nice. Okay.
Okay, that's
Shall we?
really
Probably west.
Face.
That's a
The
guess.
village
That's
and
the
then
way
go
it is.
set watch at night.
I think we should face this. I think we should break down into groups, check the village, keep an eye on each other. And if it's only been less than 2 hours since this town was captured by bandits, perhaps they are still on the move.
Jenny, let's go look for people. Okay, start heading.
Bezor, who will come with me?
sure.
I'll go with Dion, Mark says.
That's
All right?
Oh, fun.
You split up into small groups of 2. Small groups of 2. And basically you go building to building.
Otherwise,
Um,
size groups.
Eventually, one of the groups, let's see which one. 1, group 2, group 3, group 4. Group 2. Theon and Mark.
Oh, cool.
Okay? The 2 of you
Good luck.
find a small girl who's maybe 9 years old. Certainly no more than 10. About 4 foot flat, 4 foot tall. Anyway, she's 4 foot tall, and she's crouched down, hiding under, basically it's like a desk in a bedroom in one of the houses. And you creep in, and when you creep in, kind of just poke your head in the room for a second. You don't first see her, but then as you turn your head and start to step away into the back into the hallway, you're just kind of going room to room, you hear someone like just a little scuffle, like she scooched back under the desk or something like that. And so you look again to see if it might be a rat or a person, and you're on infravision, of course, and she shows up like a red beacon against the coolness of the air in the house. Bezor and Faze, the only thing of interest that you find is there's a pot of stew, most of which the water is all cooked out of it, in the kitchen of a nearby house. And it's starting to burn. You can just smell that kind of charcoal smell as the water is all cooked out of the pot.
I put up the stuff.
Okay. Save the stew for what it is. It's the only food that you've seen that was readily available. Just occasionally there's some stuff sitting around or whatever. But this one. The meeple. Bezor the meeple.
The most personality about his character is axe, and he's very orange. Bezor on infravision.
That's what it is.
I like it. He's a little short. Other than that, I like it.
That's me height right there.
Okay. So, the girl basically will not talk. She has a ragged stuffed animal and she's burying her face in it. Her hands are dirty, her face is dirty. She almost looks like an urchin. Like you saw the little kids in the street before that just play in the dirt and don't have a lot of supervision. And now she was hiding under the desk in the house. She'll come with you with a little coaxing, but she doesn't want to talk. What happened now? Mark says, as you're walking out of the house, Mark says, what happened, girl? Speak up, girl. What happened? He stops and opens the door. When he opens the door, she tries to bolt. Do you let her run, or you hold on to her?
Rub by the shoulder. I'm not gonna like.
I'm not going to hurt her, but you're going to hold on to her clothing.
Figure four.
Okay. She begins to squeal like a stuck pig. She's like, which everyone in the town hears.
Listen to me.
Janny hears a small female voice crying out in pain somewhere.
Wait, I hear Theon.
We run towards the problem.
Okay.
I hear bacon. I mean, bacon.
All right. So Janny and Jake come bursting out of a house across the street and run in your general direction. Before you ever get there, in the moonlight, you can see that Theon has hold of a little girl by the shoulder. She is squirming, trying to get away from him. She looks like an urchin. She's probably less than 10 years old. Dirty blonde hair. Simple clothing. She's wearing like a shift, which is basically like, it goes over her shoulders, one piece goes all the way down to her shins, and she doesn't have shoes.
Alright, I'm gonna tell Theon to let go.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try talking to him.
Okay. She comes up, squats down to look at the girl, and says, let go. Okay. He lets her go with a little shove. Roll percentile dice.
I'm going to be ready.
I didn't really shove it. Okay.
Yeah, you shoved it.
It was a flourish, not a
Are we
shove.
trying for high or low?
Hi.
A flourish.
I should have slapped her.
Okay.
No, it was.
She scurries away from Theon and basically runs into your arms and just wraps her arms around your neck and buries her head in your hair.
I'm gonna pick her up.
Okay.
Try like.
Remember, she's not that much smaller than you are, but she does only weigh probably like maybe 30 pounds.
I'm gonna try calming her down.
40
and
pounds.
ask
She's
her
very
why.
thin.
Pounds at 4 foot.
She's very
Like
thin.
I'm gonna rub her back and then ask her what happened. Like, or I'm gonna try to get her to talk.
Okay. She says, "This is all gone. Did anybody else go into the area there when you heard the screaming?"
Yeah.
We heard the
I'll
screaming.
Yeah, the two of
I'll
her
make
there.
myself a bowl of stew.
Okay. Faze is happy to help have some stew as well. That's a good plan. He says, he takes the first bite. He says, stew is good for psionics.
Clearly, we picked the right place.
Is that stew?
They're like halfway across town. So.
Oh, okay.
All right. And then the two of you
Are coming to find
did
out.
go. Okay, so you come approaching and you see Janny has a little girl. She's very thin, almost emaciated. May have been an urchin in the town, but certainly was not well cared for. And Janny is coaxing her to tell what happened in the town. And,
Where's Pig?
He said,
well, either the pig is dead or there is no pig, one or the other. Mark says, it was a little girl.
Oh.
He goes over and pees on the side of the house.
What did you do to her? It wasn't bad.
No,
You don't have to.
it was Theon. He didn't let her run. All gone. She says, all gone. Everybody's gone.
You know why they left?
Taken.
By bandits?
Men with weapons, horses, and wagons. They took virtually everything. Well, not virtually. Almost everything.
You know why?
Because they're bad.
Solid
That.
solid.
Yeah, I'm not letting her go. I'm not gonna let her go to the.
She's not trying to be let go at this point. She's pretty attached.
Yeah, well,
You didn't even need to cast animal friendship on her.
well, I'm gonna let my chipmunk like I'm gonna try calming her more down. Let her pet my chipmunk.
Okay, that's cool. She likes
I
that.
didn't get her first fucking.
You guys are mean.
I have any mark.
Yeah, he just has a
Right.
bunch of level 1.
Roll percentile. That's looking for a high number.
52.
Okay. She still has the chipmunk in her hand, and she kind of like holds it against her belly. But she steps down, and she
She uses a piece of a broom handle that's standing there, and she draws in the dirt of the street.
The tea is green, but very.
The tea
It
is
does taste better. And there's
No sugar in it?
You're really not painting
We have
a
ice
great
cream.
picture for this tea.
I don't think so. There might be a bag.
It's green.
Usually I
It
put.
tastes better cold. There's no sugar in it.
Usually I put sugar
She
with.
draws that.
Am I familiar with it?
Roll a d20. Just her.
Four.
Okay.
break.
No. It looks like a thing on shit.
I mean, does it look like
Saw
a mark
that on
that rate was where?
No. Anyway, it is the symbol of a group of hobgoblin mercenaries that you are familiar with.
You hate those guys.
Not a big
Familiar
fan of
with those
hobgoblins.
guys.
So
Is it?
you're aware that they basically hire themselves out to the highest bidder, and that they're moderately powerful. Usually 15 to 20 of them is all, but they have decent armor, weaponry, skill, and they've been around for a bit. They're probably third generation.
Are they? Were the hobgoblins that I was fighting that were a similar symbol? Oh.
I asked the little girl if it was. They're also very.
Yes.
Guys, I think I hobgoblins.
I'm
Hobgoblins?
gonna pick the girl back up.
They don't have any food for her.
I actually bought some the other day.
Twinkies.
I have cider and some.
Perfect. She's happy to eat and drink your food and cider. Yeah. Faze lights a couple candles on the table and some bread there. You slice some butter bread. It's like having a little private dinner in people's house.
Even in real life.
I put honey on bread.
Okay.
Y'all being fancy. Alright, so do you think we would be able to follow the footprints? Are we gonna go after Raven?
I mean, we could track them, but we also need to do with the well.
The well is useless, so we have no one to report it to.
And right now there's no one to protect from the well.
Except for this
That's
little
the
girl.
repair.
Hobgoblins
Faster we can get these people back.
This does seem more time sensitive than the well.
I might need to stay with the little girl so that she don't or like get hurt or
You're not
harmed.
staying here alone.
Well, I'm not. I'm going with, but like if there's gonna be a battle, I'm gonna have to stay back because I might run off or shit.
Well, we don't need her to track, and she hid from the hobgoblin door pretty well before, so I think she'd be.
Me and two others could go track them. This is gotten so far off that they're far.
Yeah, but you go see how far off ahead we are, it'll be twice as much time to get back and go follow.
Jake, I don't.
You fall against the metal part above the window.
Yeah, but Jake, I don't think she'd want to stay by herself when she knows that.
Do you have parents here, kiddo?
That's him. I have him. I ran away from him.
Razor's not with
No,
them.
he and
Phasor and Phase are the only ones missing at the moment.
Could see if Razor can magically see how far away.
Insane.
He hasn't said anything about distance to you.
Don't see me. I got it.
And automatically doubts Piggy's character.
Or we could mark the path that we take and one bring back and get the rest of them. So I'm sure somebody magically can need to sleep.
I say we set up somewhere, the inn or house, whatever, and then some of you don't scout. Just scouting should be fine. Just we don't really need to know specifics at this time. We should know where they're going.
That was your best types for going with you.
Need to sleep.
I'm not
We need
a
to
walking
stealthy.
piece of metal.
You're chasing someone. Tin Man. Where do you need the Tin
Someone have
Man? You need to be
those.
stealthy. You're chasing someone.
Lantern or something. Pull the light and send you the track.
Someone have a
So
bullseye
that we
lantern
can
is what she's
not
asking.
easily-
Oh, I have a lantern. Here you go.
Yes. So you probably saw a couple of regular lanterns, not bullseye lanterns, but like table lanterns in town.
Does that make you the scarecrow?
A little dog.
Let's be
Your
honest.
Toto?
Okay.
Pretty
So-
sure that's Channing.
In or take a house?
You're fun.
Perhaps you'd like to write for Well-Wynn Adventures. The Prince Albert series on Kindle is a short story series where you can write your own based on our prompts and donate them or donate half their profit to the ministry.
You said the rest of you were setting up for a camp. So in the inn or take a house?
I'm gonna go find the comfiest bed in this town.
You have rooms in the inn. The comfiest.
Yeah, but the obvious place to live would be the.
That's true.
Say we set up in some house.
Awesome. To be clear,
We'll compensate.
we'll mark the path that we take. So if we're not back in like 3 to 4 hours, someone can rescue us.
You want one of my
I'll be
steaks?
sleeping in
I will be
hours.
asleep in 3 hours, yeah. Make it 5 to 6. That's reasonable.
Seven
we're
to
not
seven to
back
eight
by
if you
time-
can.
Yeah.
If we're not back by the time you guys wake up, we may need rescued.
Here's the issue. We have stuff to do after we wake up too.
I mean, I can just kill you now.
You have fun with that.
That's not.
Alright, guys, stop talking about killing each other. This is a serious matter.
Okay. So
We need to
you
get
set up in a house.
Stop talking about serious.
It has a couple of bedrooms with plush beds, or reasonably plush considering what you're dealing with here. So Theon and Brunson, probably Bazor, are staying. Baze. So it's really just Charlotte. Okay. Really just Charlotte. Is Janny going with Charlotte?
I have the little.
You're gonna stay here and keep the little girl. So that leaves Charlotte and Mark. And I'm pretty at home in the woods and stuff. So.
I mean,
But I'm pretty beat up, so let's try to avoid any conflict until I can rip their throats out when they don't see I'm coming.
Yeah, Mark's pretty
I
injured.
don't
I
plan on getting a foul with them. We just
Hey, Mark, come here.
Right.
I'm distracted.
Right.
Hey, Mark, look at the
Right.
shiny thing
Hey,
over here.
let me
Look at
dumb
this.
down for you, Mark.
Oh,
We
you have
don't
to say
fight.
magical.
We just see.
You have to say magical thing.
No
DC.
No fight.
I sneak up behind
Only
Mark.
see- Got it.
I sneak up
I
behind Mark.
distract Mark with
And
something
I
shiny.
cast 2 killing with them.
Okay.
11 hit points.
Okay. You just gotta dance around like you're ashamed.
Yeah, you just have to make it flamboyant.
I'm not
Witch
making-
doctor
What's that
magic.
feeling?
No.
Shake the gourd with the beads in it.
I'm not making myself look like an idiot for this man's enjoyment.
Does anyone else have feeling available?
Not really.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay, so
Is Bazor injured? No.
These aren't phased and moved into a small country
I'm
house.
anchored, and I hurt a lot. You moved it to
what's my
Theon.
DC with?
I moved it to Theon?
Yeah, you already used it on me.
Well, if you wear heavy clothing, it would be 9.
Oh, okay, then.
And then it would be your dex.
Dan, I'll use the return ability on Theon.
Yay!
Oh, perfect.
I forgot that I anchored him.
I am very not wounded
Yep,
now.
2, so make it 7.
You have to go back
Use
and
a
forth.
shield
Go
that I
back to
can
where
see.
you were at. I'm trying to think of where I was at. Come down.
Yeah, you were supposed to mark that down.
I could take
I
my
told
armor
you
off.
specifically.
What's your max?
37.
I think you were at 23. Because that number was stuck in my head.
I thought I was only down 9.
Okay.
Down 9.
We'll go with it.
If I take
Now,
off
if you
my-
don't mark it down, you don't get them back.
If I take off my armor, I could probably keep
So
up
I'm
with
no
you guys,
longer
but
anchored then?
I'd much
Correct.
rather keep it on. And I'm feeling really good right now.
I'll leave it up to you. I mean, these guys are going to kill them anyways.
I'd say you stay here.
Brunson, do you want me to stay here or do you want me to go with them?
Oh, stay here. We need protection.
Okay.
Danny, do you have
That you can do in your
any
armor.
use
I will
spells?
leave my armor on.
Dan,
Unused?
What?
I'm noting the time of day.
Or have you used any?
I'm trying to anchor Jake
Yes.
again.
Does not.
One.
Oh, that
So,
So either it hasn't reset yet, or it's only once ever.
you used it twice on Jake already.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
We check and see if Bazor
It must not reset at
want to go
midnight.
with us.
It feels like it's after midnight.
Maybe dawn.
Which would make it a new day. Yeah.
Hey, Josh.
Or dawn is more like that.
I can anchor you.
What
at
did you say,
dawn.
Jenny? I'm sorry.
Should we see if Bazor or Baze want to go with me and Mark?
Ken? Mark says, I just assume we go. Neither one of them is very gouty or fighty.
Heidi.
That stuff that Basil does gives me the creeps. Says it's not magic, but quacks like a duck, looks like a rose. That's just not right.
I just go with them. I'm like, okay, let's go. Transfer over here.
So who's all going on the scouting mission?
Just Charlotte and Mark.
Okay. I will. Are you injured?
They're both significantly injured at this point in time.
I'm down.
Can't boost. It's already used 3 times. Try to boost on her.
Nope.
Okay. Alright, not the bottom. This thing.
So how are we doing watches?
Let's see. Pretty sure everyone's sleeping and you're watching. I think that's the plan. Okay.
You got 4 hours with her.
As long as I get a couple.
Is
You
the
can
little
sleep
girl
while
fine?
everybody else remembers.
Oh yes. She's probably already sleeping. Doesn't feel safe. Wait with that.
Hey, you didn't take forever memorizing files.
Okay. So
Really memorize.
I will anchor
Pray.
on not significant in Bezor King. Okay, I will anchor Jenny.
you are anchored.
Anchor the
You
earth.
just make a mark. You're at full hit points, right? You're full. So you're anchored at full hit points. So then
Right anchored.
if you put
Anchored
hurt.
at full.
if you get hurt, then he can use his amulet to put you back to full hit points. That's the idea. So, all right. Anyway,
Make sure you mark that you're at full when you're anchored.
Mark
Anchor at
and
full or something.
Charlotte head off into the woods. You do not have non-weapon proficiency running, correct? Okay. So he'll go at your pace.
Bezor's good at running.
So
Brunton's good at running.
Away.
I'm good at running. I don't have proficiency, but
Then you're not.
Okay, I go sleepy now.
yep.
me too.
Okay. So and then are Faze and Bazor staying in the other house, or are you gonna go stay in the house where they're staying?
Staying in that.
Okay, you're staying in the stew house.
I wonder what Bezor and Faze are.
And Faze does leave some money on the table to pay for the stew in case the people get rescued.
One of us needs to stay here.
Yeah, one of us should stay here, Josh. Stay.
Okay, we'll girls. I'll go look for Faze.
Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa,
For the
whoa.
Bezor.
Who
Bezor.
said?
He's already leaving, and you have a girl laying on you right now.
I'm overly.
It's
Anyway, you do find them. They appear to be intending to bed down in the house that they're in, which is good because there's only 2 beds in the house that you're in. But it's bad because then that means you have to protect 2 houses.
How far
The
away?
back door of their house is like 40 feet from the front door of yours. Not too far.
In the middle.
Is there some
Are they at the
Neither
end?
one. One. That's toward the edge of town, opposite direction. You came in far away to actually spot it.
Sit on the roof.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Charlotte and
Check out The Moment Blood Bowl wherever you buy books. This is written by Pastor Daniel Stevenson, the longtime author and game master of Low Moon Adventures.
Mark head off into the woods. You can tell that he's having to hold himself up considerably to move at your pace, which you're not used to, so that probably feels a little awkward as you're pretty quick on your feet, but you realize in the woods he is extremely quick. And
Is this Jenny?
he's getting her little girl druid nature. Yeah. Okay. Roll percentile dice for me. Tracking.
56.
You're easy to it's easy to track. I mean, it's the entire town, right? So there's lots of tracks. They follow a path through the woods, which starts about 2 miles away from town, away from the direction away from the mountains. The mountains are that way, and you leave the shadow, if you will, of the mountains, and then move into the woods. At one point in time, you find a small, almost like a pewter spoon. But it's miniaturized, I don't know, about 2/3 the normal size of a spoon, about that big, laying on the middle of the path as a rocket.
Stay tuned for more Low Moonian adventures.